Are you hungry for more Daggerheart content? Well, you're in luck. We have new content available on The Void, the playtest hub for Daggerheart. We are looking at now transformations. So we got a new batch of cards and a new mechanic to explore. So let's hop right into it. Here we are on daggerheart.com/The Void. And here we have the new transformation cards. Transformations represent changes or augmentation in characters in Daggerheart. These are optional aspects of a character's identity that may be given out by the GM during a campaign for narrative purposes. GMs may also present transformations as an option at character creation at their discretion. And our 6 new transformations are going to be Vampire, Werewolf, Reanimated, Shapeshifter, Ghost, and Demigod. So let us take a look at what we got. All right, so we got cards and then some text down here. Let's read the text down here first. So similar to what we just read, transformations represent changes or augmentations to characters in Daggerheart. These are optional aspects of a character's identity that may be given out by the GM during a campaign for narrative purposes. GMs may also present transformations as an option at character creation at their discretion. Transformations provide both a mechanical benefit and a drawback. As a player, you are responsible for ensuring you track both features, paying special attention to the drawbacks so that the GM isn't required to track it for you. Utilizing transformation cards requires you to buy into the concept of the exchange, taking on the burden to also reap the benefit. When you gain a transformation, add the card to your loadout as if it were an aspect of your heritage, like ancestry and community cards. It does not count against your domain card limit. Consider how this change augments your character both physically and psychologically. Use the transformation questions in the applicable section to explore how it affects your character or make up your own. You can only have one transformation per PC. As the GM, we recommend you discuss the possibility of including transformations at your table before introducing them to your players. Because they are optional and deeply impact the PC's narrative journey, ensure that there's something that they will enjoy and that the transformations support the story that they want to tell. Some transformations have rather obvious origin points in a campaign. The vampire or werewolf transformations could come from a particularly important attack from a major villain in your campaign. Perhaps the reanimated or ghost might come from because a PC dies and in place of a great magic or another PC makes a story-altering bargain in exchange for their life to be restored. Other transformations are more likely to be taken at character creation, like a shapeshifter or a demigod, but could be introduced as a character twist during a campaign. It's ultimately up to you. As the GM, which transformations are available to players at character creation and how they become available throughout play, so you can decide what works best for you, your players, and the story that you're telling together. And we have our 6 cards here. So let's just go through them. First one we're going to have here are Vampire. Vampires are undead, fanged creatures that drink blood of the living. So we're going to gain Fangs. Make a strength roll to bite a target within melee range, dealing a d8 physical damage using your proficiency. And then you have Feed. On a successful Fangs attack against the living creature, you can mark a stress to feed. Place a number of tokens on this card equal to the number of hit points your target has. You can hold up to 5 tokens at a time. Spend a token before an action roll to make your fear die a d20 instead. When you take a long rest, remove a token. If there are no tokens on this card, all your action and reactions are made with disadvantage. So you can spend feed tokens to increase your fear die up to a d20, increasing your possibility of success, but also increasing your possibility of success with fear. And then if you run out of fear tokens, everything is at disadvantage. Next up, we have our werewolf. Werewolves are creatures who transform into supernatural wolves. We have our wolf form. When you mark 1 or more hit points, you can also mark a stress to enter your wolf form. While in this form, gain a d10 wolf die that you add to all attack and damage rolls. Nice. When you would gain a hope while in wolf form, you mark a stress instead. Interesting. Frenzy. When you mark your last stress while in wolf form, you go into a frenzy. Roll a number of d20s equal to your tier and automatically deal that much physical damage to all creatures within very close range, then drop out of wolf form. That's a very close range is a good chunk. So you got to be really careful where you're standing when all of a sudden you come out of wolf form, or you could hurt your allies. Next up, we have Reanimated. Reanimated are corpses who have been brought back to life. We get stitched up during a rest. You can only clear hit points if you have access to remains from a recently deceased creature. Describe how you're using this material affects your appearance. You cannot clear hit points by any mean except a downtime move or the risk it all death move. Interesting. And we also get Corpse. When you risk it all on a death move, if you fail, you can permanently mark a hit point to succeed instead. When you do, you still use the hope die's value to clear hit points and stress. That is interesting. Only being able to regain hit points those two ways, and only with corpses, definitely definitely a narratively focused one that is very interesting. Next up, we have Shapeshifter. Shapeshifters are creatures that can change their physical form. So you gain change shape. During a long rest, you can spend a downtime move to swap your current ancestry with another. When you do, describe how your appearance changes. That's interesting. Only skin deep. When you shape change, you only gain the benefit of one of the ancestry's features, which you select when you choose the ancestry. You can spend a downtime move to switch which of your ancestry features you gain the benefit of. That's interesting. So you're able to be any ancestry you want, but you can't get both features. You can only get one. Ghost. Ghosts are a spirit trapped between the mortal realm and the veil of death. Spirit form. Your physical form can shift between corporeal and incorporeal. Mark a stress to transition into and out of your spirit form. While in spirit form, you can move through solid objects and are immune to physical damage and take double magic damage. You can spend 2 hope to attack or physically interact with the material world. And then you gain Ephemeral. Cross out a hit point slot when you take this card and when you increase your tier. When you mark your last hit point, you must choose between Blaze of Glory as your death move. Okay, so you're gonna die. There's no other options other than Blaze of Glory as a ghost. That's interesting. So, like it said here, if all of a sudden somebody made a bargain to keep you alive as a ghost, you really only got one more shot. And then Demigod. Demigods are creatures whose veins flow with the blood of the gods, and you gain Ichor of the Gods. Your advantage die is always a D10 instead of a D6, which is really good. And Weight of Divinity. When you roll a failure with fear, you must mark a stress or give the game master an additional fear. Interesting. For Demigod, that seems weak. I would expect something a little bit more godly, but I think, just having the blood of a god, it makes a little bit of sense. Just when you have advantage getting that D10, that one feels weird to me. So this was it. This was the transformation cards available on the Void for Daggerheart. Let me know what you think of these new transformation cards. I think they're a lot of fun. I think they add a really cool narrative depth to what you can do with your characters beyond what you get in the core rulebooks. And I think having these little things available, especially in certain types of campaigns, like you could make everybody vampires at the start, or have a full reanimated campaign where everybody's reanimated, or do a one-shot where everyone's ghosts. And by the end of it, everybody's spending their death moves to go out in a blaze of glory. It could be a lot of fun. A group of ghosts that need to finish one last job. Exciting. I think that could be those are very fun concepts that pop right into my mind reading these cards and seeing this new mechanic available for Daggerheart. So, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments which one of these cards is your favorite, what you kind of want to use these cards for, and if any of these cards missed the mark for you, or if the whole mechanic is just not for you. Let me know down there. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll see you next time.